Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of my game dev diary for this roguelike project. If I could talk would be good. Last time we were actually got monsters into our randomly generated dungeon. Unfortunately there were too many monsters because we have to put an extra conditional in, and we also need to make sure that the arrows die when they hit another enemy or if they hit one of the barrels. So put in the extra conditional in now, and it's because our ratty corresponds to number 15 if you remember from the last video, and our body corresponds to number 16, and our rat archer corresponds to number 17. So 1 through 12 is the barrels and 13 and 14 are the spikes. So we need to say only go in here if the number is greater than 15. So it would have spawned a lot more rats than it should have done, is what I'm thinking. Haven't actually tested it, but it seems logical to me that that's what it was doing. So what we want to do then is say only go into here if this number is greater than or equal to 15 rather than smaller than or equal to, and then that will hopefully sort out the too many rats being spawned. And then we'll go look at the collision groups for the arrow. And then we want to make sure also, what I noticed was that the rats and stuff sometimes like span and were spinning, and so we want to make sure that they can't rotate, and in stencil that's pretty easy to do. So that should say if it's greater than 15 then go in here, so that should stop as many rats being spawned. Hopefully. It's just an idea, so we'll have to test it and see if it works. Next up was the actor types, and it's the arrows. And we need to make sure that one can rotate, no. I'm going to have to do that for all the arrows. And then apart from making sure the arrows can't rotate, we want to make sure that they die when they bump into other stuff. So I'll go do that now as well, because otherwise if they don't die then they continuously collide, and if they continuously collide that plays havoc with the frame rate because it's doing a lot of extra calculations that it doesn't really need to do. So you really need to make sure that collisions only really happen when they need to happen. Otherwise you could have hundreds of collisions and hundreds of calculations going on in the background, when one, that doesn't look like it, and two, you really don't need it. So go to arrow movement. It's the self tiles, enemies, and we also need duplicate. So tiles, enemies, players, and item group, I think. And we'll also just do actors just to be safe. So duplicate and actors. So we'll give this a test, and there should be monsters, but there shouldn't be as many, and hopefully if there is a rat archer, there's no guarantee to be, but if there is, then hopefully you can see that the arrows die when they collide with everything else, that they just don't remain on the screen. So we have a rat and two bats, so we'll go kill these. Not quite, don't quite like the pushing of the, forgot to do the stopping the rotating. we're not going to have any more enemies because they're only in dungeon list 1. So we'll get back out of this and create another dungeon because we haven't copied the monster creator code to the other name lists yet, which I want to do in, I think, probably, oh, there's another, and the bats go over the spikes. I think I want the enemies not to be able to collide with the spikes, so there's definitely a couple of things that need tweaking. So enemies colliding with the spikes, making sure that the bats don't rotate, and come on, please, can we have a rat archer somewhere? Yay. Well, it looks like the arrows are dying finally, so that's good. And we don't want the rat archers to be able to move apart from when they're pushed. So it's starting to look a wee bit more like a game a little bit. Still nowhere near ready to properly play, but there's the elements there. It just really needs kind of like that bit tidied up and a bit of polish. I really don't like how the push works at the minute for the once you hit an enemy. I forgot that if you kill an enemy and you leave and go back in, are they dead? No. So we need to implement that code as well. Once you kill an enemy, it remains constantly dead. So we need to go and make sure the bats don't rotate. So we go into body, physics can't rotate, and then we also need to do that for the rat archer, and then we go physics can't rotate. Okay, what else do we need to do? It was, what do we want to do next? There's a whole list of stuff that we can do. Well, probably start off where if we kill the monster it remains dead. So we've done that for the barrels, so how did we do that for the barrels? Let's look at the barrel behavior. It might be, I think it's as good as copying that in. We don't need the animation behavior. We do need this. We do need slash hit, we don't need any switch. Well, we might do in the future. So, I might just attach, if attaching the barrel behavior might just work. So, we'll give that a go. So, we'll close barrel behavior, and we'll go to rat archer, and we'll go to behaviors, and we'll add barrel behavior. So we might have to change the name of it from barrel behavior. Ooh. Well, we don't. I don't think we set the animation type. Sure, we don't. We don't. So we should be okay. I think we're going to be okay. Body behaviors. Add behavior. Barrel behavior. And then the last enemy we have is the rat. Ratty, little green dinosaur. So I need to tidy. There seems to be a lot that I want to tidy up, especially the push when you collide with the slash. I don't quite like how that's behaving at the minute, because it simply pushes you in the opposite direction, but it's still kind of clumsy at the minute. I'd rather that it pushed you. It worked out the angle between you and the enemy and pushed you that amount. So, oh, he died in one hit. I didn't realize they died in one hit. Oh, he died in one hit. That's not good. And didn't get wiped off the list. So that was wishful thinking that we would we'd get away with using the barrel behavior for the enemies. So it removes the barrel still, but it doesn't remove the enemies. So they don't have their health and they don't get removed. So what we'll do is we'll duplicate it and actually look what's going on rather than trying to be lazy. That was sheer laziness. So we go to duplicate and copy of barrel behavior. Okay, so we've got a kill self in here. When it's a slash, so really we want to say is that when it dies we want this to happen, so we probably want an event in enemy health. So if we go to, we do have an enemy health behavior, don't we? Enemy health, we do. So custom event kill self. Okay, so what we want to do then is once the current hit points is less than 0, kill self, but also cause an event in this behavior, and we'll call this enemy enemy list remover on death. So apply changes, and it's rather than inclusion and actor type, so it'll be on event. So basically custom event, and we'll copy this in. Oh, copy. And then paste. Yep, there we go. So we'll call the event list remove, or remove from list, remove from list. Okay, that looks kind of good. So we can tidy it up a wee bit and delete some stuff from the behavior that we don't need. So we don't need this anymore. So we can delete that if my PC catches up. So remove actor type. We don't really need this, I don't think. Yeah, we'll keep the kill self in this. So updated, we don't need this updated, so remove that. We need this because it sets the active room, but we don't need this, so remove created. And then enemy health, we can remove the kill self, and then we say behavior trigger event for self. And it was trigger event remove from list, and it's in behavior enemy. Oh, there we go. Enemy list as for self. That seems sensible to me. Hopefully this works. So we close that. We can close this. Go to Ratty, remove the barrel behavior. It really was chancing my arm, hoping that would work. But as you can see, as I was saying in the last video, you should really try and write code in a way that you can use it for as much possibilities as possible. So that could have been quite annoying, having to remove the monsters from the list, but because it's sort of similar to how the items have been created and destroyed, it means I can just kind of borrow that bit of code and tweak it a little bit. So something that took, what, I think it was 3 or 4 hours to code up and develop, I've applied it to something else, something completely different, monsters rather than items, but it's only taken half an hour or so. So those type of bits of code that you can tweak and then use for something else, it's really handy to do that. So just try and keep that in mind if you are doing some coding. So after that big speech, and it's not working. Or is it? Oh, it's not dying. Yeah. Epic fail. Though when we bump into it does well, do they get removed? No, they don't even get removed. Oh well. After that big speech. Alright, so why is it not working? We'll have a wee look here. Death on collision with player. Oh, that's why. I attached the wrong thing. Silly me. Should have been paying attention rather than preaching to you all. What did I call it? Enemy list remover on death. Suitably humbled. Need to pay attention rather than just rabbit on. And concentrate on what I'm doing. So hopefully this time this should work, or else it's double epic fail. And then once this gets to work, we can kind of copy the code over to get the monsters in the other dungeon lists. Cool, he didn't die. Didn't die. So what we want now is to go back out and then back in. Nope, they are still there. Huh. Right, okay. I think I might have an idea what's wrong. Go to this and we look to make sure that it's definitely removing the right thing. So number of items in active room divided by 4. Get item number TK. I don't think we set that for our monsters, and we haven't. I bet you we haven't. Yeah, we haven't. So we need to set the item number. I think we did specify that in S2D2. Hopefully we can get this tidied up quickly enough. So it's kind of like, maybe talk a bit here about debugging. It's kind of trying to figure out where you've gone wrong in your code. So it's, again, let it run, see what's wrong, and then tweak it, and then see if you're right or not. So we do have item number, and it's the first thing. So we do want to set that. So how do we do it for the items? So we go to the item spawner, and we should see that we have said set item last created and barrel behavior and barrel behavior. So if we copy this bit, no, oh, that's the wrong one. Really want to get the item number. Copy, undo, and then we go to the monster spawner, and then we paste this in. Do we not have to set item number to, yeah, and then we need it for last. Okay, so we got that. Set item number to, yeah, that's good. And then we need for last created set, and then instead of barrel behavior, it will be the enemy list remover. So hopefully you can see where we're going with this. And paste, and there we go. It's not barrel behavior, it is enemy list remover, and it should be still item number TK. Item number TK. So pull this out, copy it into the body and the rat archer, and then one last try, and hopefully it works. If not, we're gonna have to leave it for another video. Oh, wrong place. My hand-eye coordination was not up to the task. Got it in the right place there. So yeah, haven't been able to spend too much time on the game lately, but really want to try and get this finished up in some sort of stage so I can enter the Trials of Oryx. I was talking about that in the last video, so really that's my aim at the minute, to get this finished up by December 24th in some sort of state. So it is playable and enter it in that. I probably will develop it further, but I want a basic game. Alright, we'll go for, what shall we try and kill? Go for this bat and this rat archer. Yeah, I want to get it, probably will develop the game further, because I don't think I get it to where I want it to be in a month or so. There we go, it worked. Happy days. So got the enemies removed from the list. Yeah, I don't think that the game will be where I want it to be in about a month, but I think it will be in a good state that it'll be still fun to play. So as always, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Until next time, see ya.